Baldinger joining us right now. Baldy, we have been talking about a fast start for the Broncos this year. Sean Payton said it's a big emphasis for the team to start fast because they haven't won a game in week one under Sean in the first 2 years. So let's start fast right here. And I want to ask you, Baldy, I think that this Titans game is the easiest possible game the Broncos could have gotten week one. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, but I think it's the easiest game that can be on any team's schedule because you're playing the team with the worst record last year, you're playing at home, and you're playing a rookie quarterback making his start. Am I taking the Titans too easy here, or is that the right assessment?
No, I mean, the Broncos should be heavily favored this week and next week at Indy. No, I think they're a much better team. I think the coaching is much better. I think the quarterback play is much better than in what they're going to see in either of the first two games. No, they should be 2-0 going to play the Chargers in week 3. I mean, I'd be shocked if they're not 2-0 after the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, we were kind of surprised. We looked through it yesterday. Cam Ward in the preseason threw 19 passes, according to our friends over at True Media, only threw to 5 different routes. It was like a go route, a hitch, a cross, a screen was in there, and then like an out. And there was nothing else. And we looked over at Bose, who threw a couple more passes, but there's all sorts of different stuff going on in terms of what the Broncos were running. I'm curious, when you go into week one against a quarterback who's never played an NFL game before, do you just assume that it's going to be a pretty simple offense that, you know, if you're Pat Surtain, you kind of know what's going to come half the time?
No, I mean, you got to play your rules. You can't just assume that it's going to be one of those 5 routes. You just but like last year, Bo Nix, the first week of the season, why even line up with wide receivers? I mean, he couldn't complete a ball to a wide receiver the first 2 weeks. Yeah. So I'm not saying that Cam Ward is going to be like that, but nobody really plays in the preseason. Nobody really gets a feel for it. So you're kind of going out there, and I'm sure Tennessee purposely, didn't give Cam Ward a lot to show anybody. Just wanted to kind of just get a feel for the tempo and getting in and out of the huddle. I mean, just basic stuff. But I'm sure that they have all kinds of things drawn up for this game against Vance Joseph and a defense that is very, very talented. And I'm sure they've worked on a lot of things and they haven't shown anybody anything. So, I mean, I think, Patrick Surtain and company have to be prepared for everything.
Baldy, how important is a fast start to just the psyche of a team kind of moving into a season?
Well, everybody wants to get off to a fast start because then it sort of confirms everything that you've done in the offseason, whether it's, the adjustments you've made to your roster via free agency or the draft, or the guys you've let go, the guys you've stayed, any sort of changes to the playbook. I mean, it just confirms the things that you have worked on and the vision that you have applied is coming into fruition. So that's always good. But honestly, I mean, I say this and it's kind of cliche now, but I mean, September's the new August. Nobody really knows anything right now about any team. Every team's got to start really from scratch. It's just a good approach, period, regardless of how things ended up. I went back and watched, the playoff game against Buffalo last year. And, Bo Nix throws a touchdown pass to Troy Franklin. Everything looks great. And then they couldn't really do anything the rest of the day. So, even how you finished last year doesn't really matter. They're going to have different running backs and they'll have a new tight end and they'll add some new pieces on defense. But you really have to go start from scratch and build your identity for this upcoming season right now. And what is that going to be?
Baldy, speaking of hot starts, I think Nick Benito has a chance to get off to such a hot start. Playing a rookie quarterback at home, I think he could have 1 or 2 sacks. Then playing Daniel Jones, I think he could have 1 or 2 sacks. And we're in this spot now. We haven't talked to you since the crazy Micah Parsons deal and trade happened, of where the Broncos and Nick Benito, maybe they sign a contract before the season, maybe they don't. The numbers might be so different because of just where the market's at and where the Broncos would want to pay Nick Benito with a little uncertainness about him. I think the Broncos should pay him right now before the season starts because I think it wouldn't be crazy if after the first 2 weeks of the season he has 3 or 4 sacks and then his market's now in the $40 million range. What would you do if you were on either side of this? How should this go moving forward between the two sides?
Well, the market's not going to drop. I mean, we just saw Miles Garrett, and we saw Max Crosby, and Micah. We've seen all these guys, T.J. Watt. We've seen all these guys get signed, and we've seen where it's at. It's 40 million and above. Now, I don't expect Nick Benito to get 47 guaranteed million over the next 4 years, but like
Right.
Micah, but it's going to be, I don't know exactly what Trey Hendrickson ended up signing for, but I don't know if he's in that company of the guys I just mentioned, but I mean, he's had 2 great years. I thought the worst signing in all of free agency was the Tennessee Titans signing Dan Moore to a big contract, and that's going to be the left tackle for Tennessee. Like, I just don't see it. I love Dan
Mm.
personally. He's a great guy. He's a try-hard guy, but I mean, I think Nick Benito should be licking his chops for this coming Sunday. A mile high up in the air there. I mean, he's going to win some one-on-ones, no question about it. Should they get it done before? If they can, I mean, you got to identify the guys that you want to keep, that you want to be a part of Sean Payton's, team going forward. Um, if you wait, I mean, I don't know if there's any benefit to waiting. If you can create the cash and create the money right now, I'd say go ahead and get it done right now. Let him go earn the money at this point if you can get something done.
Baldy, I said 1 or 2 sacks for Nick in week 1. After hearing you, I'm going 2 or 3 sacks for Nick Benito week 1.
Oh boy, I'm curious what you think of the rest of that Titans offensive line. Our old friend Lloyd Cushenberry at center, bringing Zeitler, kind of an older player, but has played on some really good offensive lines.
Yeah.
And then bumping Skoronski into the other guard spot. It's kind of an interesting group. What do you expect from them?
Well, they're well coached. I mean, Bill Callahan is one of the great offensive line coaches, period, that this league has seen. He came in with, John Gruden in 1995 to Philadelphia. I mean, I was around him from day one. He's a great coach. And so, they've moved Latham over to right tackle. He's enormous. I saw him this year at this offensive line masterminds. It should be a good group. Skoronski is a very good player. The question mark, honestly, is what Dan Moore is going to be, but I'm sure that they're just not going to let him on an island out there on 3rd and long against Benito. I'm sure that there'll be some plan for that, but I think JP is better on the right side than he was on the left side. He is a big guy, but he does have power. I would expect them to be able to. They ran the ball pretty well last year. I'm sure they're going to do their best with what they have to try to run the ball, probably out of a shotgun formation, spread offense, what it's going to look like with Cam Ward. But and so you're kind of limited with some of the runs, but they should be a pretty good group. I mean, one thing Callahan could do is he can mold 5 guys into a good group.
Baldy, the Broncos have become kind of I don't know, maybe a sexy pick to win the AFC West. And taking the Chiefs out of this a little bit, which obviously you can't do, but instead of saying well, if the Chiefs lose their quarterback, then the Broncos can win the division. Like, what do the Broncos have to do if they can do this? They've got a great chance to win the division.
Well, they were a top 10 offense and defense a year ago, so to say that you got to stay in there. They led the league in sacks. I mean, you like to be at the top of the leaderboard in that department. I would say that if they lead the league in takeaways, that they are certifiable. Because I think if you just give extra bats, in fact, the year that the Saints won the Super Bowl with Sean Payton, they led the league in takeaways. So I would say that if the Broncos, and they have a chance with the ability that they have in the secondary, the additions that they've made with Greenlaw and Ofanga, what the defensive line looks like to me right now, I mean, they have a chance to lead the league in takeaways. Minnesota and Pittsburgh tied last year with 33. If they get north of 30 takeaways this year, then I would say they're a certifiable playoff team, or not just playoff team, but a Super Bowl contending team.
So then, Baldy, I got to hold your feet to the fire. Are you joining in on this sexy pick? Do you think the Broncos will win the AFC West?
Well, I think it comes down to the Chiefs, because I think the Chiefs are going to be very good. Their biggest issue last year was their offensive line, and it looks to me like the additions they've made at left guard and left tackle, they look like it's the best it's been for a while. And the speed that they added with Tyquan Thornton, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, I mean, the speed that they have on the outside is as good as anybody's in the business. And if Mahomes gets an extra tick to take his shots down the field like he did in the second half of even the Super Bowl game to Xavier Worthy, I mean, they're going to be they're going to be hard to beat. But I would say they're right there with Kansas City. And if there's a year for them to overtake Kansas City, this is probably the year to do it. You got a quarterback coming back on his second year. He's been through it. He's seen the rotation. He's seen the league. Like he should get off to a good start. If there's a year to overtake Kansas City, I would say this is the year to do it.
What a perfect note to end on. I absolutely love it, Baldy. Love the insight. We were texting yesterday just about how pumped we are, and I know there's no one more pumped than you for this season. And, man, look forward to watching all these games this weekend and then getting to catch up with you next week, Baldy.
Happy football eve.
Okay.
Let's go. Thanks, Baldy. Enjoy your weekend, man. Always love catching up with Baldy.